It began with sweltering temperatures and ended the same way.
And now on this final day of August, the valley is seeing its 5th straight day of triple-digit heat. It also meant another Spare the Air Day. It's been in the unhealthy range for the past several days now. Chief Meteorologist Laura Ashley is in the Weather Center with a look at what we might expect tomorrow. Laura?
Dale, much the same. In fact, we have another Spare the Air Day for Sacramento, and we had record high heat. In Redding, it was 110, Red Bluff 109. Sac Exec, we tied with 104, and because of the heat wave, the special weather statement continues for Northern California. You can see the temperatures there back up to 106 in Sacramento, Dale, Stockton 104, Modesto 105. We'll talk more about the air quality coming up.
Today's high temperatures probably aren't helping any. Meteorologist Mark Finan has more on our weather and our poor air quality from the Weather Center. Mark?
Well, our heat wave does continue today with many areas in the valley up above 100 degrees, and it's a little hazy in the area. And yes, once again, the air quality is bad. Let's see just how warm it is out there right now. Temperatures in most spots are above 100. Currently, Sacramento is at 103 degrees. That's a look from our Skycam in downtown Sacramento. As you can see, it does look a little hazy. It is 103 in Sacramento right now, 100 degrees in Stockton, 102 in Modesto, and 84 degrees at Lake Tahoe. The air quality, well, not very good. Let me show you the latest movie. This is the ground level ozone movie. And once again, the areas of yellow, orange, and even occasional red are the areas of the worst ozone. And today we are seeing some pretty bad air quality on the east side of the valley from the Rockland area down through Folsom and then extending into the western part of El Dorado County. I do expect the air quality may continue to get a little bit worse over the next hour or so, and we'll keep you updated on that as we go through the rest of this afternoon and early evening. I'll have your forecast in just a little bit. Back to you in the studio. Well, it is hot out there again today with temperatures close to where we were yesterday at this time, and I think we're going to be in for another one of these tomorrow. Let's see how hot it is out there right now. That's a look from our Skycam in Sacramento. Looks pretty good, but it doesn't feel all that good. We have a temperature right now of 103 in Sacramento, 100 in Stockton, 101 in Modesto, and 84 degrees at Lake Tahoe. Of course, on days like this, we continue to monitor the air quality. The ozone has been getting bad again, especially on the east side of the valley. Places like Rockland and Folsom have been seeing increasing amounts of ozone in the air over the last couple of hours, and we're going to have to continue to monitor that as we go through the afternoon hours. So we are in for another hot day tomorrow, another bad air quality day, and here is the ground level ozone movie for you today. And as you can see, the east side of the valley is where it is the worst. The areas of orange developing there around Folsom and then dissipating somewhat. Not as bad as what we have seen earlier this summer, but we're probably in for another bad air quality day tomorrow and another hot one too. I'll have your forecast in just a little bit. Back to you in the studio.
Laura Ashley joins us now live from the State Fair with the latest on a very hot forecast. Laura?
It is hot out here. In fact, I've got this little guy. It's their first time in air conditioning, and we're going to meet a little bit more about them and find out how old they are in just a second. But outside right now, it has been very, very hot. Temperatures well above 100. In fact, in Sacramento, currently it is 105, and in Stockton it's 100, with Modesto at 101, Fairfield 99, and Lake Tahoe is currently at 84. So it is hot, and it is a record for the month of August. In fact, it's the warmest August in Sacramento. And we've had the third warmest month ever. In fact, 1 July was actually warmest. But I think that we all felt this too. Remember back on August 4th when we reached 111, it was a Tuesday? That tied for the highest temperature we've ever had in the month of August. And we've had a record 16 days over 100 degrees. So that was also a record amount of days. And in our forecast for tonight, we'll see 90s, wake-up weather at 69, and then our drive home 106. Satellite map shows that we've still had very stagnant air conditions, which means that the air is not mixing out the pollutants. That's why tomorrow it's another Spare the Air Day with 113 psi, 99 in Stockton and Modesto. This high pressure ridge is going to stick around, and through this week, temperatures will stay above 100. We do have thunderstorms to the south of us over Imperial County and into Arizona. But right now in our forecast, temperatures are going to stay hot. Napa 99, Lakeport 105, and here in the valleys, well over 100. You're going to see 107 in Marysville, Yuba City, Davis at 104, Fairfield 99, and here in Sacramento 106, Roseville 102, and Auburn at 100 degrees. As we go into Lodi, Stockton, Modesto, highs above 100 with 101 in Stockton and in Modesto. And if you live in the Sierra, that's the place to go to beat the heat. We're going to see 88 Lake Tahoe, 97 Nevada City, Grass Valley, and Placerville at 98. As you plan ahead, Labor Day weekend is coming up, and originally I thought that we'd see some cooler weather and then it would heat back up a bit. Now it looks like some cooler air is actually going to move back in, and we'll see temperatures dropping back down into the 90s as we head into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
The brown haze in the valley is triggering another Spare the Air Day around Sacramento. The Air Quality Management District says the ozone level is at 125, and that is considered unhealthy. To bring down the pollutants, you're asked to reduce your driving, turn off gas-powered lawnmowers and leaf blowers. High temperatures around the state also are triggering health advisories elsewhere. The bad air is making it tough for some people. Let's switch over to Dave Bender in the Weather Center. He has the latest on all this hot weather and what's up next. David?
Well, the hot air and all the particulates in the atmosphere and a very stable atmosphere itself has triggered a really nasty afternoon and what is going to continue to be a nasty spare the air situation for the better part of the remainder of the week. As of this afternoon, like about 3 o'clock this afternoon, places like Folsom saw a PSI at 100. For tomorrow, we've got spare the air up and down the Central Valley. It's going to be 118 in Sacramento for tomorrow, so we're looking at a spare the air situation there. 103 for the Stockton-Modesto area. That was also going to be considered a spare the air situation as well. Let's take a look at the highs so far today. 106 for Marysville, 106 for Sacramento, 102 Modesto, triple digits for Stockton as well as Fairfield. The record, of course, 109 for September 1st. And how does this compare? We've had a lot of triple digits. So far this year, we've seen 27 days at 100 degrees or above. Last year we had 14 days, and on average we will see 19 days. So this basically ties us with the 5th, if you want to use 100-degree days as benchmarks for warm air, the 5th hottest summer so far here in the Sacramento area, and the hottest August on record for the entire state of California. So it's bad air in the southern part of the state, it's fires and bad air here in the northern part of the state. We will see some relief. We'll tell you exactly how much relief is going to happen and when that's going to occur coming up in full weather. But the bottom line is spare the air with all these high temperatures for the next couple of days. So there's your check here. We'll have the full forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Okay, David, thank you.
Sure.
Well, if you're feeling the lazy days of summer, today would be a good day to just stay home. It's another Spare the Air Day in the Valley, and air quality officials are encouraging you to help out by driving as little as possible, using alternate forms of transportation, or as we said, just staying inside. Gabe Hetty is monitoring the air quality for us across the region today, checking out which neighborhoods are getting hit the worst. Gabe?
Yeah, Marianne, as you know, yesterday it was a 138 PSI, which caused officials to issue a health advisory. Keep your eye on the Folsom area and the Roseville area as we move through. This is yesterday now. Watch the colors and some real bad stuff around the right around the dam at Folsom. And then it gets better again as the late afternoon wears on and into the evening. But a day much like yesterday, probably a 125 PSI scale today during the latter part of the afternoon. So still, combined with this heat, things are very nasty out there. The heat will continue. I'll have more of that. We had a record hot August, and I'll have more info on that. But now as we move into September, the heat just keeps going and going. Now we're going to go outside. Abbott is breathing all that stuff and all this heat. Abbott Dutton, take it away.
We sure are, Gabe. Boy, September is starting off on a hot note, isn't it? Not only is it hot, but the air is pretty dirty, too. We are live near the Yolo bypass in I-80. What I'm about to show you may make you cough a little, so take a deep breath. Take a look behind me. What you're seeing is the Sacramento skyline. Yes, yes, buried beneath all that brown haze is the Sacramento City area. You can barely see the skyscrapers downtown. That's how bad the air is. The pollutant standard index is estimated at 125, as you said. That is in the unhealthy range. That makes this the second Spare the Air Day in a row. We have seen 19 Spare the Air days so far this year. Yesterday was worse. The PSI hit 138. That triggered a health advisory for anyone sensitive to the effects of air pollution. Now, interestingly, the PSI levels can vary from place to place. At one point yesterday, the PSI in Folsom was 113, and at the same time, it was 67 at Country Club Plaza.
Oftentimes, light winds can cause variations in pollution levels. We often see the southwesterly delta breezes blow pollution up toward the foothill area, so we see our highest readings often in Folsom, Roseville, and Rockland.
Of course, the bad air means a lot of us are staying indoors using the air conditioning, so officials at Cal ISO are declaring today a Stage 1 emergency. Yesterday was a Stage 2 emergency. The peak demand on the transformation system is expected to reach almost 45,000 megawatts by late this afternoon. Now, a Stage 1 emergency means that the public is being asked simply to conserve energy. The average consumer would not be affected by that emergency. If it does go up to a Stage 3 emergency, that's when we would see blanketed blackouts throughout the city. By the way, Sacramento has never seen a Stage 3 emergency. It has never gotten that bad. So, Marianne, the air very hot today and very dirty as well. Back to you.
Boy, and we can certainly see it.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah, just barely. Exactly. Thanks, Abbott.
Okay.
And now, Fox 40 weather with Darla Givens.
This will probably come as no big surprise to you. It's going to be hot again tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, though, will be the coolest that you will see it all day long. 66 in Sacramento and Stockton, 70 in Modesto. By the noon hour, temperatures warming to the upper 80s and lower 90s, and lots of sunshine for you. And tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be quite warm. 102 degrees in Sacramento, 100 in Stockton and Modesto. August was certainly the month for record breakers. August was the warmest on tap for 80.7 degrees. It broke a previous record from 1996 of 80.2, and it tied the warmest month ever. The warmest month ever on tap was 81.6 of July of 1988. Just how hot did it get today? 106 degrees in downtown Sacramento. That's 16 degrees above normal for this time of year. And Stockton 101, Modesto 102. We still have that high pressure that's remaining the dominant feature in our weather pattern, and it will remain that way for most of the week. By the end of the week, a trough will move in and weaken the high just a little, and that's when we'll see cooler temperatures. If you notice down here on the bottom of your screen, this is Tropical Storm Isis. It's carrying winds of about 70 miles an hour. Right now, the storm is 35 miles southeast of Cabo San Lucas in Mexico, so if you have friends that are traveling there, oh, they may not enjoy it over the next few days. We talked about Earl earlier. Earl is a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico, carrying winds of about 60 miles an hour. It is expected to turn into a hurricane when it reaches the coast. This is what we're expecting tomorrow, 104 for Sacramento. Sunny and hot again in the Stockton and Modesto area. Hot once again there too, with highs ranging from the 90s to 100s. In the foothills, sunny with the exception of a few clouds in the afternoon, and in the Sierra, mostly sunny and unseasonably warm. Some morning fog and then sunny in the afternoon in the San Francisco Bay Area with sea breezes 10 to 20 miles an hour. It is a spare the air day tomorrow. We're expecting a PSI of 125. And here we go with the 7 days. 104 tomorrow, 102. So we start cooling down just a little bit as that trough moves in toward the end of the week. But we're finally getting there.
You just put your hand like this and cover that part of the screen. Triple digits. It doesn't look too bad. Thank you, Darla.
Okay.
Well, yes, it is hot out there again today, and we most likely will be above 100 again tomorrow. After that, it gets a little iffy, so we'll deal with that record in the next couple of days. But right now, boy, it is just another hot afternoon, and we also have bad air quality out there. 103 right now in Sacramento, 100 in Stockton and Modesto. Lake Tahoe is one of the cool spots at just 86 degrees. In terms of air quality, health advisory has now been issued up until 6 o'clock for some areas and up until 7 o'clock for the Auburn and Cool area. And as you can see by the latest air quality movie, the ozone movie, you can see these areas of red developing on the eastern side of the valley around Folsom, Cool, and Auburn. And actually the health advisory comes all the way down into the valley, into the North Highlands and Citrus Heights area as well. And so I do expect we will continue to see another couple of hours of some very high ozone readings. And because of that, we do have this health advisory in effect, which means that if you do have breathing problems, upper respiratory problems, you may want to stay inside up until about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight, allowing the ozone to dissipate back into the atmosphere and allow those temperatures to come down a little bit as well. There is some relief in sight. I'll tell you about that in just a little bit. Back to you in the studio.
That's welcome news. Thanks a lot, Mark.
Another couple of hot ones to get under our belts before it cools down by the weekend, right?
I tell you, there were some areas today that were really hot, and we're not just talking like downtown Sacramento, which is usually one of the hotter spots in the valley. There were some places today up above 110.
Ooh,
yeah, I'll show you those in just a second. But right now, things are beginning to ease a little bit from our daytime highs. We're currently at 102 degrees in Sacramento. The wind, calm. Looking for a delta breeze, you're not going to find it tonight. In Fairfield, we aren't seeing much in the way of a breeze either. This is a look from our Fairfield sky camera. Still 102 with a light breeze out of the west at 10 miles an hour. In Stockton, this is a look from our Stockton sky camera. 101, the wind is out of the north at 8 miles an hour. Modesto, looking for a breeze? That's rooftop level where there's usually a breeze. Not tonight. At the airport, they say there's a bit of a southeasterly breeze. Right now we have 98 degrees. And South Lake Tahoe is currently sunny. That's a look from our Tahoe Skycam. 84 with a northwesterly wind at 10 miles an hour. I want you to keep in mind that we still have a health advisory in effect for the Auburn and Cool area up until 7 o'clock tonight for high levels of ozone. We have seen readings there of 138, and this is the forecast for tomorrow. 100 on the PSI scale for Sacramento. Spare the Air Day in Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto. Look at these daytime highs. Sacramento did it again, 105 degrees today. 108 in Marysville, but Ukiah 111. Redding was also at 111, hit 102 degrees in Stockton, 103 degrees in Fresno. But just to the south of Fresno, we've been seeing some showers and thunder showers develop during the afternoon. In parts of Kern County, there has been some wind damage from these thunderstorms, and we're still getting some pretty good activity down here. Now, this is similar to what we saw a couple of days ago when we were getting some lightning strikes down here, and of course it caused some fires. No reports of that yet, but we'll have to keep an eye on Southern California tonight. The radar is picking up some showers down here. And with Hurricane Isis down here in the Gulf of California continuing to move to the north, we're going to have to watch that. Most of that is going to slide to the east, but some of the moisture may make it far enough to the north that the Sierra may start to see some showers or thunder showers during the weekend. We'll keep you posted on that. Other areas will welcome a cooling trend by the weekend. Our forecast for tonight in the Sierra calls for clear skies. Overnight lows will drop down to the 40s and 50s, back into the 90s tomorrow. Look for a high of 90 in Truckee and 94 in Pollock Pines. Daytime highs will top 100 in many foothill locations. Sonora, 102. San Francisco, about 68. Fairfield may be a little bit cooler tomorrow with a high of 98 degrees. Manteca, 102. Stockton, 103. Sacramento, 104. Marysville, about 106. So another hot one. Tomorrow will be day 8 of this heat wave. Day 9 is in question right now. Upper 90s, maybe 100 Friday, but then 90s for the weekend. A welcome cool down, and in most locations, the Labor Day weekend looks good. But again, the Sierra, we'll have to keep an eye out for that because we may see some of those afternoon showers.
Thanks, Mark.
And it's hot, and it's going to get hotter. Mark Finan here with the details. One of the areas where we can cool off in the Pacific, or maybe on the coast. Is the coast going to be as hot as it is in the valley? Or?
The coast is actually going to be pretty nice this weekend, but you have to make sure that if you're making your weekend plans to get out of the heat, make sure you get all the way to the beach. I mean, don't just go to like the East Bay or...
that won't do it.
No, that's not going to do it. You have to get all the way to the ocean because that's about as far as the sea breeze is going to go.
Ocean.
I can do that. I can do that. Yeah.
Lois,
I'm there.
Dave, get your credit card ready. Lois is making weekend plans. 102 currently in Sacramento, about 101 right now in Stockton, 100 degrees in Modesto, and 82 degrees currently at Lake Tahoe. That's a live look from our Modesto sky camera. And yes, you see a bit of a breeze, but the wind has been out of the wrong direction all day long. It's been that dry north wind. The humidity is quite low throughout the area, so we don't expect any delta breeze tonight. It is going to stay very warm right on through the evening hours. So I'll show you today's official daytime highs if you really want to see them. 104 degrees in Marysville, 103 in Sacramento and Stockton. Our hottest day so far this year. Nothing record-setting here, but Obviously very, very warm, and as you just saw, it isn't really cooling off all that quickly. San Francisco saw a high of 81 degrees, so that cool breeze that we like to get out of the Delta and we like to get out of the coastal areas isn't going to come tonight, so it is going to stay hot tonight. I do want to give you an update on what's been going on across the rest of the country. More rain across the East Coast today, more welcome rain in Florida. They're finally getting in to their typical summer pattern. The afternoon thunderstorms, and California is also finally getting into our typical summer pattern, where all the clouds go by to our north. We stay with sunshine and, of course, hot daytime highs. We are into a rather stagnant weather condition right now that is going to keep all of the clouds off to our north, keep the heat trapped in Northern California. That also means bad air quality for the valley, and we are going to be seeing this hot weather locked in place over the next few days, especially right on through the weekend. It may begin to cool off a little bit next week. Let's take a look at our forecast for tonight in the Sierra. Tonight, I'm expecting clear skies, light winds. Tomorrow, sunny and warm. About 90 in Truckee, 90 at South Lake Tahoe. If you can't make reservations for the beach because Lois has taken all the best rooms, you may want to go to the Sierra. It will still be warm, but not as warm as the lower elevations. The foothills will make it above 100, about 102 in Placerville, 103 in Jackson. Along the beaches tomorrow will be a little bit better, about 78 in San Francisco. Napa, upper 90s to near 100. Look at Lakeport, 105. 106 in Stockton, 107 in Modesto, 108 in Sacramento, good enough to tie a record high tomorrow. The 5-day forecast keeps us in the triple-digit heat even into the beginning of next week. Tomorrow is a spare the air day, bad air quality expected not only in Sacramento but also into Stockton and Modesto. Avoid unnecessary driving, avoid activity in the afternoon, try to stay in the AC. This is getting bad.
All right, Mark, thanks. We'll be right back. Hot temperatures, a record high. You know the drill. It's summer in the Central Valley, and today we are hot on the trail of a new heat record.
This is good.
That record is 108 degrees, set way back in 1935, and even if we don't hit it, there's no denying that it is scorching hot out there. And we have live team coverage for you tonight. Mark Finan has the highs so far. Michael Kidd is checking out ways to keep cool. Tana Castro is keeping an eye on fire danger. And we start with Greg Larson for a look at how the heat is affecting people.
Well, Lois, you know, if you look around here, I'm at the American River on the Watt Avenue access right here, right now. And you see all these people over here, they seem to have the right idea when it gets this hot. Put your feet in the water, put your whole body in the water, and cool off. There's even a kayaker here, if you can look this way, who just might have gotten off of work today, taking a stroll into the river to cool down. Because all day today, a lot of folks working around Sacramento simply weren't able to cool off in these kind of waters.
This is good.
Water was like gold today if you had one of those jobs that happened to keep you outside working in the heat.
I got you, Mike. Some days is better than others. When it's under 100, it's nice. But over 100, not fun at all.
When you deliver roof shingles for a living onto the roof, the heat can burn the pounds right off.
I'd probably say about a pound or two a day. Between me and him, we go through about 3 gallons of water a day.
And if you happen to be the guy installing that roof, working most of the day up there in the sun, you adjust your hours accordingly.
Basically, we'll try to start around 6 and knock off by at least 1. Maybe not take a lunch break and, you know, just try to get them hours in and get it done before the real intense heat comes on.
But we had such a cold, you know, spring, see? And they're just starting.
Now, if you're a tomato hobbyist, though, all this hot weather is great news. Your plants are just getting all the heat they need to ripen. And it's also good if you know you can get out of the heat when you want to.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I got a big swimming pool in the back, see? And I got a nice big rumpus room with a TV in it. And I'm retired for 21 years, so I enjoy it.
I got to tell you something. I think that gentleman pretty much had it right. The ability to cool off, get in the swimming pool, works pretty well. And this river thing doesn't work too badly either. So for you folks in the studio, maybe that helped.
Back to you guys.
It helps. Oh, that feels so good. Thanks, Greg.
And with this extreme heat, it also bakes the air, causing unhealthful air quality. The Valley recording yet another Spare the Air Day today. That's the third so far this summer. Checking out the skyline from our live Rancho Cordova sky camera, you can see a bit of haze in the sky, but what you don't see is what's really bad for you. That is ozone, which is invisible to the eye. So, of course, what you can't rely on, what you can't see, we'll tell you what kind of air you've got. And looking at the air just won't tell you about the ozone, of course. But Mark Finan has been tracking that for us. And, of course, with the latest on the highs so far this afternoon. Mark, what's the latest?
Well, Dave, we have been seeing temperatures around 102 to 105 in the area. And we are in the hottest part of the day right now. And we will most likely stay at about this level for the next couple of hours and only gradually cool off as we go through the evening. Let's go ahead and take a look outside. It is hot. It is blazing hot through Northern California. And we might not make that record that we were talking about of 108. But that's a look from our Rancho Cordova Skycam looking back toward the city. It looks a little hazy. However, the air quality, the ozone, you can't see. And that is the big problem. Now, this is mapping the ozone as we've gone through the day, starting at 7 o'clock this morning and going to 4 o'clock this afternoon. And what you're seeing here is we go to the light green and then these areas of yellow develop. That's tracking the areas of bad air quality. And you can see how it gets centered north of Sacramento. Sacramento is right there in the middle of your screen. And the areas of yellow that develop, showing where we have the bad ozone, is right along the I-80 corridor from about the North Highlands area through Roseville and Rockland, and even on up toward Lincoln. Even downtown Sacramento has better air quality than Roseville does right now, and that's what we talk about when we talk about the bad air quality, the PSI numbers not being bad all day, but it certainly does peak out at about this time. So right now in Roseville, Rockland, Lincoln, you're seeing some of the worst air quality in the area with high ozone levels. And if you have respiratory problems, it's probably a really good idea to stay inside for the next couple of hours. Once we get past 8 o'clock tonight, those ozone levels will begin to drop down again. I'll tell you the forecast for the weekend coming up in just a little bit. Dave and Lois, back to you.
See you then.
Meteorologist Mark Finan joins us now live from our Weather Center. Mark, did we break any records?
So far, we have been very close. We have some preliminary numbers in right now. The record for today is 108 in Sacramento, set back in 1935. And so far in Sacramento, as you take a look from our Rancho Cordova Skycam, the high has been 107. Right now, 104 in Sacramento and Stockton, 102 in Modesto, and 88 comfortable degrees at Lake Tahoe. But even by Sierra standards, that is a very hot afternoon. Not only do we have to deal with the heat, but we have to deal with the poor air quality. Now, this is an animation showing where the ozone has been during the day. Now, ozone is the big problem, and what you have to look for are those areas of yellow that develop in the afternoon. Sacramento is in the middle of the screen there, and what you see as we get through the afternoon and get up to about 2 o'clock as these areas of yellow develop along the Interstate 80 corridor right there. Roseville, Rockland, Lincoln, Granite Bay, you're under some of the worst ozone in the area right now. It is in the unhealthy category in many spots, and it will be for about the next couple of hours. The ozone usually improves after about 8 o'clock. After the sun goes down, things do improve, but the next couple of hours, bad air quality in the Roseville, Rockland, and Lincoln areas. If you have respiratory problems, stay in the air-conditioned comfort, at least if you can, and then after 8 o'clock, the air quality will be improving. Tomorrow, another Spare the Air Day. I'll have your forecast in just a little bit. Kelly and Sarah, back to you.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Mark. Meteorologist Mark Finan joins us now live from our Weather Center to tell us how warm it is at this hour. Mark?
Well, it is still pretty warm out there, and that's why it's tough on these nights for folks without air conditioning to try to get a good night's sleep, because it really doesn't cool off all that much. Let's go ahead and take a look outside, and you'll be able to see for yourself that it is a very warm evening. Temperatures in the valley are still well into the 80s. We have 85 in Sacramento and Stockton, 86 at this hour in Modesto, and still a relatively warm 70 at Lake Tahoe. Along with the heat goes bad air quality, and I want to show you how the ozone was working during the day today. This is a time lapse that covers the time between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. through the Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto area. And what you're looking at here is as we go through the day, these areas of yellow develop. And those are the areas where we have the bad air quality, the high readings of ozone. We'll go through this one more time, and what you'll see is that the morning is fine. The green on the screen, that's just fine. The morning hours are terrific. But once we get up to about noon, see those areas of yellow develop along Interstate 80 around Roseville, and then it gradually expands through the foothills as we go through the evening. And the last frame here, that's at 7 o'clock. You can see the worst air quality is actually up in the foothills. But as of this hour, the air quality is much better, and it will be nice again tomorrow morning. But tomorrow, another spare the air day, and another hot one, too. I'll tell you all about that in the forecast in just a little bit. Back to you in the studio.
We'll see you then. Thanks, Mark.
In other news tonight, a health advisory is in effect at this hour for a number of areas in the valley and foothills. You can see the haze on the horizon from our live Sacramento sky camera. You're looking toward the Roseville and Rockland areas now. Downtown Sacramento, not better looking from our live Rancho Cordova sky cam. Meteorologist Mark Finan live in the Weather Center now for more on the advisory and what you should do.
Well, the problem is that you don't see the ozone that is out there, and we'll talk more about ozone in just a minute. There is some unhealthy amounts of ozone out there this afternoon. Let's first see just how hot it is out there. That's a live look from our Fairfield sky camera, where it has been a little bit cooler today. But right now in downtown Sacramento, 104. We have 101 in Stockton and Modesto, and Lake Tahoe currently 90. Most locations are within a couple of degrees of where we were yesterday, but the air quality is worse than it was yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is once again our animation showing where the bad ozone is, and you can see how these areas of yellow and orange and even some red develop during the afternoon. The air quality during the morning hours, fine, but as we get into the afternoon, notice how on the east side of the valley the air quality becomes very bad, and right now we do have unhealthy amounts of ozone in some areas, and because of that there is a health advisory in effect until 6 o'clock for downtown Sacramento, Folsom, North Highlands, Roseville, and Rockland. That means children and the elderly and anyone with respiratory problems should stay inside, reduce stress, and just stay by the air conditioner if you can. Right now, the worst air quality is along the Highway 50 corridor from downtown Sacramento through El Dorado Hills up through Folsom Lake and the Roseville area, and we'll most likely see unhealthy amounts of ozone up until about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. There is some cooling in the works. I'll tell you about that in the forecast in just a little bit. Dave and Lois, back to you.
All right, Mark, thanks.
Chances are good that along with sweating today, I'm sorry, you're doing some coughing, and if you think allergies are at the root of your discomfort, chances are you're either misinformed or you've been misdiagnosed. A health advisory that's been in effect for several hours now just being canceled. The problem, dirty air that's making it anything but easy to breathe. As with most of our discomfort this week, we can blame part of it on the summer heat. The heat is a catalyst, not for allergies, but for some serious pollution that's affecting us all to some degree. We start our coverage with meteorologist Mark Finan live in our Weather Center for a look at today's air quality or lack of it. Mark?
Sarah, the problem is ozone cooking in the afternoon heat in the Central Valley, and we did have enough ozone in some communities this afternoon to put the Air Quality Management District to issue a health advisory that expired at 6 p.m. Now, this is an animation showing how the ozone has moved.